Now, there is no doubt in saying that by far one of the fan favorite characters is without a doubt Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by Hayden Christensen in the prequel trilogy movies by, of course, creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one interesting aspect of Star Wars is that yes, we do know that they are now in a phase of desperation that they're really trying to crawl out of. And they have over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the works on Disney Plus alone. Let that sink in for a moment there, is that they have around a dozen plus projects in the works on Disney Plus. That, of course, being Star Wars TV series, whether it be animated or live action form. A lot of things are happening between George Lucas, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, you name it, to really deliver as much authentic Star Wars material as possible. And given that Kathleen Kennedy has little to no creative power on those projects at all, except for the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series, things really are starting to look bright for Star Wars. Now, here's the actual situation. We do know that a lot of problems already existed within the Star Wars fandom. It's very divided, and Bob Iger and Chapek are really trying to reunite the Star Wars fandom as we speak, to really bring Star Wars back to its roots by really kind of siding with George Lucas's vision of Star Wars, to really kind of bring that back into the equation here, to really make Star Wars feel the way it used to be, that magical feeling of the actual franchise that we had in the originals and the prequels. The sequel trilogy didn't feel quite the same to me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there will agree. Now, what's really exciting all has to do with actor Hayden Christensen and creator George Lucas, and what's going on between the two behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm. Now, specifically, one of the main characters within the Skywalker saga was Anakin, who was written to be the chosen one by George Lucas. This is a character that many fans had issues with in the prequels due to either Hayden's acting on George's writing of dialogue. However, other fans also absolutely loved his character and were disappointed to learn that Kathleen Kennedy had erased Hayden Christensen from the Star Wars sequel trilogy movies by Disney. Now, it's explained that as of right now, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are doing major things in the Star Wars universe in order to make the fans happy. It's said that George Lucas recently just hired Hayden Christensen for a brand new Star Wars project that is said to actually not be connected to the Kenobi TV series, and that this will be a brand new live-action Star Wars series that will debut on Disney Plus sometime in the near future. Now, let me stop right there for a second. The fact that George Lucas hired Hayden Christensen for another project that's actually going to be separate from the Kenobi TV series, this really is going to be a major deal, because now Hayden is getting other opportunities and other chances to really redeem himself as an actor. You know, a lot of fans really disliked his acting capabilities in, episodes 2 and 3, and I understand the criticism, I do. But here we are, we have Hayden coming back into the Star Wars world, thanks to George Lucas really pushing this idea to get him back into the overall franchise. Now, further, it's noted that Lucas has been in the talks with Hayden Christensen for quite some time now. So make no mistake about this project for quite some time now, in order to actually get things done and started early, and that this will be based in a brand new era of Star Wars that the fans have never seen before. Now, it's said that this series will take place in an era that is going to include many of George's original ideas from the old Star Wars universe that he did not get to use in the Star Wars world. Now, it's however unclear if Hayden will be portraying Darth Vader and/or Anakin Skywalker in this new Star Wars TV show for Disney Plus. Now, let me stop right there. Now, we have Hayden Christensen coming back to the role of Vader and Anakin in the Kenobi TV series already, for starters. That's the biggest thing of all. The other thing that I think a lot of fans really need to keep an eye open for is the fact that George Lucas is going to dive into a different era that we necessarily have not seen before, or is going to be connected to an already existing era that's going to be its own type of thing in Star Wars. That, to me, is a very interesting route to take by George. We're not quite sure exactly what it's going to be, but we'll get into that in just a second, because things are actually starting to look like it's going toward Dave Filoni's take on Star Wars, and you'll see exactly what we mean about that. So, This is actually said to be separate from the Mace Windu Star Wars TV series as well, and will involve Hayden to explore his acting in a great way for the fans to witness at home on Disney+. It's described that Hayden Christensen is already beginning to do some research on the show and the Star Wars lore in order to get back into action as a beloved character in the franchise. Now, this series is said to involve a well-known war in the Star Wars universe that will be expanded into live-action form, and that there has been talk that this will be a live-action Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show featuring Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by Hayden Christensen, however, labeled as a brand new era. So, very interesting. I'm not sure what they're trying to do here, the fact that it's going to be a live-action version of The Clone Wars, yet calling it a different era, if you will. I'm not quite sure what that could really mean or where that could really go. But one thing is for certain here is that George Lucas knows what the Star Wars fans want to see on the big screen. George Lucas really knows exactly how to really satisfy the fans at the end of the day, especially now, where a lot of fans have been very upset with the way things went with the sequel trilogy and everything with Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, everything just keeps going on in a more positive direction. The Mandalorian Season 2, I think, had a great start with Episode 1. Episode 2 was okay, but I think that things really are going to pick up even more so with the remaining episodes to really dive deeper into Star Wars lore. So, Hayden, once again, I think that he deserves all the best from the Star Wars fans, and I think that he deserves to be welcomed by the Star Wars fans in order to really make him feel at home again, and to really get back into that acting seat, and to really kind of just portray whoever he's going to portray. It's most likely Anakin in this case again, in order to really get the ball rolling again with Star Wars. That's what George Lucas wants. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's all he wants. He wants to give Hayden another big shot. Apart from the Kenobi TV series, he really wants to go all out with Hayden Christensen in a Star Wars TV series that won't necessarily just be, a cameo here and there, or a short scene here and there in the Kenobi show. They actually want Hayden to be in a big Star Wars show on his own. And that's going to be a massive thing to satisfy the fans, at least in my book. So, moving further, Dave Filoni is described to also be involved on the project in order to make this as authentic as possible for a Star Wars TV show for the fans to witness around the world. George Lucas is also going to be hiring new creators to become a part of the new Star Wars project in order to make it something very in tune with the Star Wars fandom. George Lucas has been in the talks with writer Robert Rodat to take on the new series. Now, Robert was the writer for the film Saving Private Ryan by Steven Spielberg, which would fall right into the territory of a Star Wars The Clone Wars live-action series for Disney+. So once again, Robert is the writer of Saving Private Ryan. You can see why George Lucas would even want him involved on this show. It really seems like that we are going in that direction, where it's going to be a very war-heavy Star Wars show. A lot of violence, a lot of losses and sacrifices, that type of thing. I think that's what we're actually going to see, on Disney+. Something very much like Saving Private Ryan, given that Lucas is in the talks with Robert to really do that. So, the other thing that I think is very important about all of this is that the new series is also said to have more violence than the Mandalorian TV show by Jon Favreau, and is aimed to be a more gritty Star Wars TV series in order to give fans a different take on the franchise for the fans. Now, say what you will about The Mandalorian, it is still somewhat of a gritty TV series, but it's not necessarily the most violent thing that you would see in Star Wars, right? George Lucas wants to explore that. He wants to explore a grittier version of Star Wars, kind of like what we saw in, I guess you could say, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story's ending, something like that, except to the more extreme, giving it a dark, gritty feel. That's what George is aiming for this unknown and untitled Star Wars TV show that is going to feature Hayden once again. But still, guys, like I say, Hayden is coming back in that Kenobi show. He's going to begin filming in spring of 2021 next year, big deal. A lot of great things are coming out of Star Wars. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.